So I wanted to show off a piece of equipment that's not a bit, but it answers a question that I'm asked a lot at clinics. What do you do when a horse's mouth is hurt? As a horse trainer, we are put in a position to where by the time that the horse is put into training, he may have gotten hurt, and he may have gotten hurt in the mouth. This is called a MacGregorNoseBand, Kineton. Kineton, it's English. I've never heard it pronounced, to be honest, but that's how it's spelled. It's 2 cups. It has a nose bridge piece in front of the 2 cups. It can only be used effectively with a bar bit, so you can use any bar bit. The bit rests in the cups. Now, what happens is, as this bit rests in here, no matter how hard those shanks are pulled on, it can never pull the mouthpiece into the horse's tongue and lower jaw. It's braced across the nose with a noseband. So what it does is it allows the horse to interpret what the bit's asking of him using communication he probably learned, hopefully as a young horse. But it can't compress into the tongue, the bars, and the cheeks. So you can actually effectively take all the pressure out of the mouth and put it onto the bridge of the nose, but still have the bit working like a bit so that the horse can interpret how the bit works. So as the bit rotates, the horse is to follow it down into roundness. He can still feel that same cue using this noseband. But instead of the bit compressing down into his tongue, it's now pulling against his nose, the bridge of the nose. There's a small prominence of bone at the tip of the skull. This goes distinctly above that, about a ½ inch above that. So it's on real nice thick skull. It tends to come with its own nose piece. I put an adjustable strap for obvious reasons. I'm a trainer, I need to adjust things. It obviously has a side buckle. So it's called a MacGregorNoseBand. It is the only effective way that I've ever found for a trainer to continue teaching when they receive a horse that the mouth has been bruised. When a horse's mouth is bruised, they have a tendency to lean into it. So you literally would just keep training negativity. They would never allow the bruise to heal. There's lots of bitless bridles on the market. My favorite bitless bridle is called a wheel bitless bridle. It has a circular disc that has different attachments. One goes to the crown, one goes to a curb strap, one goes to the rein, and one goes to a nose bridge, very similar to this. And when you pull on the rein, the wheel rotates. I like that design best. There's tons of designs. They all fail in that there's no mouthpiece. So if the horse has spent years learning how to use a mouthpiece, and you want the finesse of a mouthpiece. Now, where this comes into play, if you're doing dressage, I always ask, why is a bitless bridle not legal in dressage? It's because it doesn't have the finesse and the language to communicate the fine movements found in dressage. The lateral movements, the bending necessary, the roundness necessary is all communicated on nice, light rein aids. When a horse gets in trouble, I put a curb bit in this to show you that it could be used with a curb bit. You can just as easily use it with a snaffle bit. It has to be a bar though. Okay, so obviously, if I can organize myself, obviously a snaffle can go in there just as easy as a curb bit. Now where this bit fails, and it fails massively, I said bit, I meant noseband. If you take a super nice bit, oh look at this nice bit I'm using on Horsey, this is what he uses all the time, but I made a mistake and I bruised his mouth. If you put this bit on this noseband, it collapses. This is why people think it's such an evil piece of equipment. It collapses. So instead of staying nice and open and protecting the horse's mouth across the nose, it now takes these U's and rams them into the cheek and causes a lot of pain by pressing the cheek against the molars. So it can be used correctly or it can be used incorrectly. So it always has to be used with a bar bit to keep it open and keep it functioning in the manner that it's intended to. It's called a Kennington noseband. It's fairly expensive, but you can find them cheap on eBay for about $70. But like I said, if you're ever going to try it because you want to try something to relieve your horse, make sure to use a bar bit. Anyway, that's a little side note to the larger video.